You should be celebrated every day. Being, women, I think is a fantastic thing. We bring light to the world. We are sisters. We are, aunties. We are caregivers. And we do so much. And we carry such a heavy burden that we sometimes don't really appreciate how much, right, of our life we're giving to public service, to family, and we don't take time to pamper ourselves, to take care of ourselves, and to celebrate ourselves and our accomplishments. And so tonight is really that. It's an opportunity to, to celebrate you and to thank you for having been so lovely to me, having, many of you are like family, and I'm going to still be here next year. I don't care who's the council member. I may change myself to one of the offices. I don't know which one, but it's going to be hard. I started doing this work under Melissa Margarito when I was a staffer for her. And I did, I used to live here in Kingsbridge Road. And so I met, Princess at Millbrook Houses, and she allowed me an opportunity to utilize the community center where we provided constituent services because we didn't have an office here. At that time, we only had about 10 blocks in the Bronx as part of the district. And then after the rezoning, we grew to half of the population is in, half of the district being in the Bronx and the other half being in Harlem. And I've loved it because I've gotten to meet so many wonderful people. I got so many wonderful people, and tonight you also get to meet each other because you probably have never all been under the same roof. So thank you for coming, and I want to introduce before we start the actual program, I wanted to introduce somebody that is very important to me, very near and dear to my heart. She's my sister at the city council. She's our speaker. I'm the deputy. She's our speaker in the city council, Adrienne Adams. Adrienne. And I wanted her to come so that you guys have an opportunity to also get to know Adrienne. You may hear about her, a little bit here and there in the news. But I wanted to tell you that she's been a phenomenal leader of the city council. Running the city council is not easy. We have to negotiate the budget with the mayor. We have to, create laws, for everyday New Yorkers. And I mean, there's a lot of back and forth. There's a lot of negotiating that goes forth. And there's 51 of us, right? So having to make sure that we're all happy and that we're all, behaving is not easy. So her job has been, but we try to make it as easy on her as possible because she's just really fantastic. And she's been doing so much work around maternal health. I don't know how many of you in the room know this, but the statistics on the number of women, specifically Black women that die every single year at childbirth is insane. And Adrienne has created a steering committee that's made up of, doulas and women who have had daughters that have died, unfortunately, as a result of complications due to childbirth. We negotiated the city FEPS, package so that we could extend city FEPS to people that normally wouldn't be eligible. So right now, if you need a voucher for housing, you have to be in a shelter to qualify. And so we try to change the law to say if I'm in my apartment, which and this is a true story. It happened to me when I used to live, before I moved to Kingsbridge, I lived on Sedgwick Avenue. And I was on the verge of eviction, and I went to Fernando Ferrer's office, and they sent me to the Jiggers program, which is part of Bronx. And they helped me to get a voucher to be able to stay in my house. So I didn't lose the apartment, the rent got paid, and the city didn't have to pay for me to be in a shelter, which is significantly higher. And so we've been passing a lot of legislation that, primarily focused on families, on communities like ours. But the work would not be able to get done without her. And so I wanted you to take an opportunity to get to know Adrienne and for her to get to know you because I love all of you and I think that you get to know and love her too. Thank you.
Thank you so much. This is my deputy speaker. The first deputy speaker in the history of the city of New York. Let's hear it for your council, Adrienne. There is none like Diana. Diana is exceptional, and I hope that you know that you have a jewel of a council member representing you. She lifts your voices up wherever she goes, be it in your district, but also in the halls of City Hall where she legislates champion bills in behalf of her community that she loves so much. So I salute her. I love her. That's my right arm. That's my anchor in the City Council. Deputy Speaker Diana Ayala. Love you. I am so honored to be with you tonight, and I knew that I had to stop by to see you all just to tell you all how much you mean to me, particularly our seniors that I always call the jewels of our community. I represent a very, very large number of seniors in Southeast Queens, and I love being in the company of seniors. I always say, I live to be you. I live to be you. I stand on your shoulders, your work, your excellence, your perseverance, particularly the women. Particularly the women. And it's because in you I see my aunts, my mothers, my cousins, my sisters, my strength. I can't do anything that I do without relying on your strength. Whether we've met before or whether I'm laying eyes on you for the first time today, I carry you with me in spirit. Just like I carry the spirit of our ancestors, Rosa Parks, Shirley Chisholm, Sojourner Truth, Harriet Tubman. The list goes on and on and on. I carry you with me, my sister soldiers, in this world and in the fight to make sure that our voices are heard and never silenced. Everyone has to know the strength and the power of a woman. I'm so proud to be a woman, I don't know what to do. Especially in this day and time when we are looking for leaders to lead in new ways that only a woman can do. Some things just take a woman's touch. And so as I look forward to continuing to have your spirit with me, to carry you with me, to carry your touch, your touch, your touch, your touch with me in moving forward, just know that you are loved deeply in my heart. And, oh my goodness, deeply, deeply, I can't do anything without you, without your power, without your strength, without your fortitude, your intestinal fortitude that came here when you were born. You don't have to look any place for it because you came here with it. You're women. You came here with this thing that people can only dream of and hope for. You already have it because it was already passed down to you, generation through generation through generation. You already inherently have this thing. So if you have this thing, I have this thing that you have given to me. We touch and agree. I have this thing because you have given it to me through body, soul, and spirit. I celebrate your honorees today, Diana. I celebrate every single woman in this room as I touch you through the air. And just know that, again, I carry you with me through my district in Southeast Queens, Hollis girl. Yeah, Hollis girl. So I carry all of you with me in my own districts. The population that I love so dearly, my older adults. I know some of y'all don't like the word senior. So I say, my older adults, my seniors, wear it proudly because I'm not too far behind you. So when I look out for you, I'm looking out for myself as well. Congratulations to every single honoree. I thank you for the love, your strength, your sisterhood, your fortitude, your graciousness, your beauty, your intelligence, your way of carrying yourself like nobody else can carry you. Honorees, keep on doing what you do because I need you to continue to be that strong thing that strengthens me, that moves me, that fortifies me to move on to higher heights. God bless you all.
She's the best, and I don't know how she makes it with those heels. So, this is so cute. I would have broken an ankle already. I'm not a girly girl. Sorry. A lot of things, but not that. But thank you, Adrian. And again, many people wonder like, what is it that the city council members do? I think in our communities, people just think that we're at the office all day, and we're not. We spend a lot of time at City Hall, really thinking through what are the issues that are impacting our community and what are the ways that we can, either legislatively or fiscally, change those conditions so that they benefit you, right? So that you're in a better position. We've passed laws on, anti-discrimination in the workplace for older adults. We have passed a number of bills that are centered around women's safety on gender-based. That's right. And so, it's very different this time around. I've been in the council now for almost 8 years, and the first 4 years it was predominantly men leading the council. This is the first ever majority woman city council. And that's really important because we legislate differently. We prioritize our funding differently. And so, I think that this time around you can kind of see the differences in what we've been able to achieve. And imagine, I mean, there's so much more that we can do, and there's so much more that we need to be doing. And so thank you, Madam Speaker, because a lot of that work would not have happened without your support and your leadership. And just for those of you that don't know these amazing women, Araceli's runs MASA, which is a nonprofit organization, which the speaker actually has been helping to fund through the migrant crisis. But she does a lot of work with the immigrant population here in the South Bronx, making sure that we have language access, that we have resources, that children are enrolled in schools, and I mean a whole lot of other things that she's been working on for many years. I really don't know of anyone who does it better than Araceli, and I want to say thank you because I know it's a lot of work and it's a very thankless job, but you've been doing such good work that I want you to know that we see you and that we recognize you and that we really appreciate you. Thank you. Sonia, how do you meet them? Sonia. Sonia Ortiz comes from Highbridge. So Highbridge was a part of my district. It no longer is. Althea Stevens is the new council member there. But she and I have been working together side by side for many years. And the only thing that she ever said to me was like, I don't want my community to be abandoned. I don't want it to be ignored. For far too long, the elected officials wouldn't even come up to our neighborhood to recognize us. The entire community in Highbridge is saturated with social service programming. There's not, we don't have resources coming into the community. We don't even have an after-school program, a community center where we can have an after-school programming yet. And so Zonia, because of her advocacy, we were able to get a commitment for $18 million to build a brand new state-of-the-art community center for that community that desperately needs it. And on top of that, she also has a youth program. She runs she runs one garden, but she runs a few. And she employs young people every summer to come into the garden to learn about agriculture, to learn about, growing young food. And, it's just been, it's such those kids are so happy when they get in there. And it's really because of her leadership, because she's been mama bear to all of those kids from that community, has seen them grow. And I know that her husband, Carlos, is here joining her today, that he's just as proud of you as I am. And, you're always going to have a sister in me. She didn't want me to leave Highbridge, but, And Diana comes from East Side House. And she's like worked her way up, through the agency, and they do a lot of programming for older adults, for youth services, workforce development for young people here in the community. And Diana is tasked with being the person that is interfacing with all of the elected officials and making sure that, those contracts are coming through and that the community's concerns are going back to the leadership at Eastside House. We have also worked together to bring to the South Bronx, actually on the Alexander and 138. We're going to be building, and Diana was a huge part of this community center there. It's going to be a youth center. We have about $15 million that was allocated for that we were able to negotiate. And she was part of the group that helped fight to also bring resources to all of the NYCHA. So we were able to get money for lighting improvements, for playground renovations. Some of you are going to start seeing here specifically, and I see Wanda's also part of this, but it was really important to put accessible playgrounds in the NYCHAs because we don't have them. And we have children that live here that have all different types of, abilities. And we want them to be able to enjoy those public spaces here. There's no reason why if you have a child that's maybe a wheelchair user, that you have to leave your community so that child can use a swing, or that, you have to travel far and wide. So with this commitment, we were able to bring that here, and you're gonna start seeing a lot of development. All of the playgrounds here at Millbrook are getting done. We have lighting, we have the cameras, the security cameras. At Mitchell, we're doing the same. We're renovating all of the community centers because, quite frankly, they look horrible. And it is not fair that when our children walk into these spaces, they don't reflect the spirit of that time. And I refuse to leave it like that. But I want to thank Diana because she, has come to every single meeting and has been such a strong advocate to make sure that this money is coming into the community and that is used wisely. Muchísimas gracias, señoras. But quite frankly, I wanted to just say this is a very special award because here in the Bronx, unfortunately, we have had difficulty retaining teachers and making sure that we have the services that the children deserve. We have an attrition rate that is higher than in most boroughs. For a lot of reasons, transit desert, people not wanting to come to the Bronx. And so it's really important that we have champions and advocates, right, that are working alongside of us to make sure that we know what resources are necessary to ensure that our children get a quality education. And that is what these two beautiful women have been doing, and Wanda, the Wanda as well. But I'm going to speak specifically about this Wanda.
Thank you.
And the work that she's been doing. So Wanda has dedicated her life to working to ensure that children with special needs in our public schools are receiving the services that they need, which are quite a little different, right, than typical students. And I mean, she's a pain in my neck. A pain in the neck. Como le decimos en español, jodona, pero with a purpose. If it wasn't for her, I mean, we've gotten sensory gems in our schools. She's also a translator, so she does translation work, both of them. I'm telling you, they're confusing.
Interpreter and translator. You say, oh my God, what is it? Oh my goodness, I am the District 75 representative for all the schools, the families that have children in the schools in the Bronx. More than 600 families. Okay. District 75 is actually a federal in New York City. It's a top district and coordination. District 75 work is a program that I work with children with different abilities, consider developmental disabilities, and other conditions. And you see that girl over there with a little, that's the Lord that I did. She needs to get this on. Whatever works for her. But I know that she might need. I know that for the benefit of her classmates. So, I
think that's what this is about, right? Utilizing a lot of us that do all of the work that we do it because we're motivated by our own personal experiences, and the situations that we bring to the table are real. They're real. And one that, has a special needs child, Alexa, who's beautiful and, who's thriving because of her mother. But she didn't just stop with Alexa. she knew that there were parents that were going through the same thing who were not able to navigate the system, which is really complex, to ensure that their children got a good quality education and had access to all of the services that they were supposed to get by law. So thank you so much for that, Wanda. We really, really appreciate you.
I do not ever work anything to get a recognition. The only recognition I get is when Alexa sees me waiting for her to go, and she gives me a hug and she says, "I love you, Mom." And it's just she has personality from is considered nonverbal. And but the past year, the wish said, "I love you." It was like the best thing in my life. Yeah.
I can't believe that she's 18 already. I can't believe it. But you've done such a great job, both of you. And I really couldn't, And ironically enough, yes, here we go.
So, hello everyone. I'm standing here in awe of these two women as well, along with Councilwoman Ayala. I've had the pleasure of working with both Wandas in my school. And when I tell you, no greater advocate for a parent have I had the pleasure of having. So Wanda comes with the purpose to work with the school. That's an amazing ability. Wanda not only is an advocate for her children, but she's an advocate for all children. To come to a table to say, what can we do? Not what can you do? It's what can we do? So funny, because I would meet Wanda at the main entrance, and I kid you not, maybe an hour to get to my office on the second floor, because Wanda would talk to the children, would speak to parents, let her passion and abilities be known. And I would say after about 20, 25 minutes, sweetheart, I'll meet you in my office. Because she would stop and speak to every parent, letting them know that she's there as a resource for them. So what a pleasure to be meeting with individuals, because no great thing happens alone. It's through parents, it's through schools, it's through children. And I've had the pleasure, and I can't believe I said all that without crying, because I'm so honored to be amongst you.
Listen, I'm doing this sort of service. She's actually the because she wants to keep the when they want starting in kindergarten, you see that little get a little bit there. The little one, how he started, we started with her. And the profound admiration we got started. And we love you with the whole children. Yes. So sorry. No.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Gloria Cruz. I work for Diana Ayala. A lot of you know me, a lot of you don't. But I wanted to honor Jasmine because my son David, ADHD, and the biggest manipulator in the world that was his third grade teacher. Everyone said David would fail. She never gave up on him. And she started off at PS 30. Then she spent a lot of her career at PS 65 as a principal and always fought for our children. And I thank you for believing in my son David and listening to me when I was in tears, like, what do I do with him? So I thought he would fail, but you didn't give up on him, so thank you so much. So I just wanted to honor her as a principal, as a person, as a proud Latina of Puerto Rican parents who came here from nothing and built and gave birth and brought this to us. Thank you.
Thank you guys so much.
We're talking about the Matriarch Award. This honors women who protect and uplift their communities through their housing efforts. This is a long list. Y'all got a lot of housing fighters up here in the Bronx, all right? So give it up for these women. Hopefully you're all here, but I'm gonna go through the names. Miss Sabrina Hill, Miss Princella Jamerson. Let's go, Princella. Miss Deborah Aviles. Patricia Simpson. Miss Rosa Pinheiro. Pamela Smith. And Marsha Williams. That's right. Give it up. Keep it up. Look at these beautiful, strong women. You don't know how hard these women fight for you.
Okay, all right, let's go. Your parents teaching. Teach me. God, who died? A thousand years ready, so tied up. That's on the sometimes so I guess that just months. I thought you were going to talk about training, and you like you resist about we think that's good for you. They will change with bring the house. They don't want there. But what are the going to be froze so it ends basically froze anything when they scramble. You got all in your bed. You don't want to see the thing kind of so better than do you want to change? See, so I'm I'm going to leave the I think I'm going to the enemy to look big with sugar. Fast and capacity. That's big. When you slow, they all know that speed after that. Queen. I say, pay attention to what's touch. That time.
Hello. Okay. Let's give these women a round of applause. And if you don't know them, you're missing out. Because these phenomenal women have led with compassion, with love, dedication, and have ensured that the residents that live in each of the developments that they represent have been front and center when it comes to fighting for preservation of public housing and preservation of Section 9 categories, and bringing in resources and funding to the development for public safety to make sure that we have adequate lighting and that we have all the security that we need to make sure that the after-school program is operational, that the leaks are being addressed. They respond to calls in the middle of the night, giving out food throughout the pandemic, making sure that there was available PPE in their developments, working with the older adult community. This building, in fact, used to be the parking lot of Millbrook houses, and it's considered an infill project, which means that NYCHA designated the site for development. And the development usually, ideally, was supposed to be a situation where you would develop and then Millbrook would have received some money, right? So they benefit from it too. And that really never really happens, because when you build 100% affordable housing, not a lot of money comes out of that. But what did come out of it was a beautiful building that is 100% affordable. It is project-based Section 8, which means that you pay here 30% of whatever your income is. And a lot of that has to do because of the leadership of Priscilla Jamerson and the resident association team at Millbrook. So I want you to recognize, all of these fantastic leaders. Rosa, when she's out there giving out, turkeys and book bags and, and feeding the whole neighborhood, because they don't just, when I go to her events, and I love that. And it's true of all of them, but her development is very teeny tiny, and her community is a little bit kind of isolated. And Rosa feeds the entire neighborhood. The entire neighborhood benefits. She always says, if I can bless them, people have blessed me, I want to bless my community. Deborah has spent so much time working with the young people. She's fighting currently for a community center in her development because we don't have one. So while we were able to get funding to fix all of the community centers at Mount Haven, we were only able to fix the smaller center, which is for the children that are in Head Start. But we desperately need, some place for our young people to go and, have recreational experiences. Oh my God. Mitchell houses, oh my God. It's been a work in progress. Marsha and Pam and the rest of the team have worked really hard to bring, lighting and
improvements to the community center there as well, feeding, hundreds of people, and they have one of the best family days. So if you want to go over there, it's really nice. So everybody has a nice one, but they have the whole street. And now Patterson actually has the same thing. They've been closing the street, but really, really nice, and always very welcoming. And my pain in the butt. I love her. No, Pat and I, she fights. Sometimes she fights me. And I'm like, you're not gonna fight me, Pat. Like, you're not gonna do that. We're not fighting. And and we have grown such a beautiful relationship. And I want to thank her because she's done so much for the seniors in her development. With the playground, when we were renovating all of the playground areas, fighting to make sure that we had a garden, which they didn't want to give her because the Parks Department doesn't want to dedicate time to gardens, and she was like, no, and I'm like, I'm not leaving here until she gets that garden because I promised her that she was gonna get that garden, and we got the garden. But really, I just want to say thank you, and we haven't had a chance to really collaborate much, but I'm so excited, and I want to thank you also, because the work that you guys do is 24/7, 7 days a week, and they do not get paid. They do not get paid, so they do this out of the kindness of their heart because they love their communities. And so for that, I just want to give you my gratitude. Thank you for all being partners, and I love you. I'm sorry, I got thrown off of the category. But Ramona Tejeda is a resident at Mitchell Houses. I know Mitchell's coming in strong today, but I just wanted to recognize her work because she moved in to take care. She was a caregiver like many of us when we discussed this in the beginning. Has spent many years taking care of her grandma, and now she's like an avid advocate for the rights of residents to preserve Section 9, and it's been really difficult work trying to convince folks that this is the right way to do things and the path forward to preserving public housing. And she does it with so much grace. So I just wanted an opportunity to say thank you for all that you do, because I know that it's very thankless. Everything that all of the women here that we all have that in common is all of the work that we do, right? It's usually behind the scenes and we don't do it for recognition, but it's important to recognize each other and to celebrate each other. And today we wanted to celebrate you.
Great.
Let's hear it. Fun. Okay. Yes, of course.
Yeah, I did. I mentioned Jessica, but I almost forgot Miss Leona Fredericks. Where's Miss Leona? There you are. Yes, come on down. She has her own preservation story as well.
And Miss Jessica is with us from We Stay Nos Quedamos, which is also here in the South Bronx. And they've been doing a lot of work around housing preservation and also environmental work to make sure that we're living in a cleaner environment, a healthier environment here in the South Bronx, which we know we have the highest rates of everything. We have the highest rates of asthma, of diabetes, opioid use, mental health issues, unfortunately, and she's been such an instrumental, part of the work that has been done here in the South Bronx, and we wanted to take a moment to also congratulate you and to thank you and to tell you that we also see you. And Leona hails all the way from East Harlem because she couldn't make it to yesterday's event, so she met us here, which is great. But Leona is the president of the River Crossing complex in East Harlem. So it's an affordable. It's a Mitchell-Lama. It was a Mitchell-Lama for many years, and then they opted out of the Mitchell-Lama program, and so half of the development left, and half of the development left, and the other half stayed, which meant that a lot of people ended up displaced. And Leona has been fighting and advocating, and together we were able to work with HPD in creating a preservation deal that brought back all of those apartments that were no longer project-based Section 8 into the program, so that way we preserve those in perpetuity, and then we were able to reduce the market rate rent to those other apartments that had already been lost, so that way at least the market rate was comparable with the income for the community. And a lot of that work, has been done because of Leona and her board. And I just wanted to say thank you so much, Leona.
Thank you. Really appreciate it.
And thanks, Bronx. I came to see you.
Yeah.
Thank you to Councilmember Ayala. I really appreciate sincerely all of your fight and passion that you've given to the district. I'm originally from Millbrook. This parking lot is where I got this scar when I rode the bike for the first time. Miss Betty, I love you, Miss Betty, back there you go, Miss Betty. We live in 584 together for many years. So it's a humble opportunity and very overwhelming for me to be here to accept this when, odds were against me and others of my generation growing up here in the 90s, as you could all imagine. And so to come back, it's a full circle moment, and I really appreciate you creating the space for me to live that and share that, si se puede, right? And the lucha sigue, and we're going to keep fighting around to preserve, protect, and stabilize. So thank you.
I think for me, the love for public housing was born in how my grandmother experienced her life in public housing. We call my building the last stop because a lot of the seniors go to live there, and after there, they go to heaven. And she always said that public housing allowed her to have the childhood that she couldn't have growing up in the Dominican Republic. So I want to encourage those of you that are not in public housing to walk more through our courtyards and to say good morning to more of us and to get to know just how magical the program is. Public housing gave me an opportunity to do amazing things. Going to Harvard is not the first thing I mentioned, but I think that's what impresses people. I think for me, what public housing has given me is really a sense of community. And there's like 15 of my abuelas here tonight. So I'm just grateful for the ongoing mentorship and for the recognition.
Thank you so much, Ramona.
It's not the box. It's all.
And just Leona, personally, on behalf of me and my family, I wanted to thank you. I grew up in the development that they preserved, and because of that work, my family is still able to stay there. So thank you so much, Leona.
Public housing and regular housing. We have to stick together. We have to. In order to get things done in your development, you have to work together. You have to organize and work together because they're trying to divide us, but we can't be divided because divided we can't get anything. You want big changes made, we have to work together, especially in this age.
Man, I love that. Thank you so much.
We're almost done. We're almost done.
We have two more categories, guys. Stick with us.
Yes, done. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Ladies.
All right.
So next up is our public safety category. This is the Justice and Safety Leadership Award, honoring women who lead in advancing justice, safety, and equity. Some of our folks have left, but we have a detective. Wepa. Jessica Rivera. And we're, okay, come on out.
No, we have another person, but we're gonna do you first because you understand in a minute. Vente pa acá. Jessica actually worked at PSA 7 in the Community Affairs Division. She grew up with my husband. I didn't even know that. I met her here first, and then my husband's like, "Oh, no, Jessica, we grew up together at Carver Houses." But it's really important that we also honor and appreciate the work of our public safety officers in the community. We have, a community that historically, right, has been on the brunt of a lot of quality of life issues that impact us that are related to public safety. And it's difficult right nowadays between the relationships with the NYPD and communities. And so the PSA has worked so hard to get themselves out into the community, to get to know who we are, to get to know what the needs are, how they can be helpful, how they can become a part of the fabric of the community and our family. And Jessica is an example of that. And we wanted to thank you so much for all of your work, for all of the hustle. She's out there with her van looking for, Christmas gifts for the kids, and then, distributing them out in the freezing cold, making sure that they have access to, free turkeys and food. And during the pandemic, a lot of, God bless you, a lot of our officers, spend a lot of their time dropping off food packages for seniors in the community. And so we need to, just recognize all of the work that they do, and not only in keeping us safe, but also in, their integration into our community, because we really appreciate it and it was just really needed. Thank you so much. I don't know.
Diana put me up here after I ate. I was sweating here and everything. No, I just want to, most kind of in the room, you all, my RA presidents, I'm out there, not only what she said, but every single family day, you see me, my partner, sweating. Those streets that you said are closed, that's us. We're out there closing. We love it, and we love it. We love you guys. You know who I am. We're part of the family. And I am a product of public housing. I call them the projects. I could do that. I was born in Carver, half houses. So I am a product of the environment. I'm glad to give back. I'm glad to be a part of this community, because it's the Bronx. All right? So, yeah, she's the best. Ever since I first met her, and before I knew that, I knew her husband. She's so sweet. I love her. And I'm like, oh, Ricky? I love him. So thank you so much. Thank you.
So the next honoree is a posthumous honoree. This is I want to pull up Sharon Mitchell first. Sharon. So we wanted to honor Ms. Holmes, Barbara Holmes, PSA 7. She was the president of the community council there for many years, and unfortunately passed away in December. And I don't know if you knew Barbara, but Barbara was a workhorse. She was sick for the last 4 years of her life, and very, very sick. And she showed up to work every day. She didn't get paid to do this work. She loved it so much that she made it her business to get up and to come. And I still have the voice, mails that she would leave me. Diana, I need to talk to you. We're gonna need money. We need to do this in the summer. We need to do that. And she was just such a unique individual. And I want to just recognize her. Guys, in the back. Okay. So we're gonna just do a quick minute, of silence in Ms. Holmes' honor, and I hope that she's resting in peace, because she was a phenomenal woman, and I hope that you're all really proud also of what you're seeing tonight, and all of the beauty and all of the spirit and the work that happens in your own community, and all of the women that are making that work happen. And with that, I want to give Sharon. Sharon will be accepting Ms. Holmes' award tonight.
Yes. I just want to say it was nice working with her, being her vice president, and she will be missed by a whole lot of people. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
That's the middle. I just had a conversation with I can't and I can't I can do it for it. We've been for like only maybe not.
Okay, now we're going on to our last category, guys. We made it to the end. Yes, give it up for yourselves. And also, I think this is something that I know personally about Diana. Diana loves her older adults, something serious, okay? Since the moment I met Diana in 2006 is when we met. Her mission has always been to service the older adult population. If you mess with an older adult in her presence, you might as well just move to another country. And so I just needed to say that because I'm a youth person. I love my young people. I want to see them succeed. And she and I fit perfectly together because I knew she was taking care of the older adults in our community while I was taking care of our young people. And so it just worked perfectly, even though, I think it's because she knows she's getting there soon. All right? So she wants somebody to take care of her in that same way. That's just, we all go in there, all right? And hopefully, right? So this is called the Grace and Dignity Award, and it is honoring women who uplift and empower the elderly with respect and care. So we're gonna call them up. We have Clara Cardenas, Tyra Espinosa, the family of Wanda Abiles? And the one and only Miss Linda Dukes. Come on over here, Miss Linda Dukes. Yes, you. Yes, you.
So it's always 500 of the other month. The Texan Foundation of it's helping with it at that inclusion. And still, well,
Yeah. She's gonna be nice today. She's nice every day. I love her so much. She's little, but don't get it twisted. She's on a mission. This is our last category, and I just wanted to say that, it is one of my favorites. I don't know how many of you know this, but when I went to school at Bronx Community College, they put me, I worked in the homebound program. There was a program at Bronx Community College called Project SOS, and I did homebound seniors. And a lot of those cases that they would send me to were here in the South Bronx. That's how I started to kind of familiarize myself with this community. And then I went on to be the caseworker at Corsi Senior Center in East Harlem, and then I became the director of Casita Maria Senior Center. So it's something that's very near and dear to my heart. I wish that I could do so much more for our older adult, population, to make sure that, like this building right here is a testament of how, these spaces should look. How people, when they walk in here, they should feel that pride, right? They should feel like we're investing in them. And these fantastic honorees tonight. Hi, Wanda during anniversary. Hi, Wanda! Have dedicated their lives to really, helping uplift the older adult community in one way or the other. And we just wanted to say thank you for all of your work, for all of your dedication, and for treating our elderly community with so much compassion and so much love.
And I wanted to recognize Ms. Duke because Ms. Duke, and I had the pleasure of working at the Mitchell Houses Community Center. And we had, so her development had a really teeny tiny community center in the senior building. And when I went there the first time, I was like, what is this? There was so many people there, it was packed. But they had what I call the segregation wall, right? So you had all of the black seniors on one side and all of the Latinos on the other. And I'm like, what is this? This is not good. And so the poor lady, when they were playing bingo, she had to stand in the middle so that both groups could hear, what she was saying. And then, to make matters worse, while people were trying to have lunch, there was water leaking right next to us. So there was buckets everywhere in that community center. And so, she was one of the first people, and the bathroom, oh my God, remember the bathroom? You couldn't even get in the bathroom if you were just, yourself. Imagine having to walk in there with a walker, like you had to come in sideways to be able to get in because it's so teeny tiny, and we couldn't repair it. And an opportunity became available across the street, and we were able to not only move them across the street, but to get them extra funding to increase the programming at that center, and to bring in more seniors that came from that building as well. That happened because of Linda, and I want to thank her, and she's there every day making sure that everything is running correctly, and she comes back and she tells me when it's not. So, thank you for being an advocate, and for being an advocate also for the youth. She spent a lot of years in the complex and in, the surrounding community, really just trying to make sure that the kids have access to the community center and that they're not getting into trouble. So thank you so much for that. And thank you guys also for all of the work that you do. I know it's fun. It's not that hard. It's fun. But working with seniors, it's really, it's hard, because we lose a lot of folks, and we age, right? We come with a lot of, complications, right? Health issues. Actually, you do the best that you can to make the experience at the center, welcoming, and we just wanted to make sure that we honor that as well. So thank you so much.
Thank you for being to the Southern Nation region. Could you speak? But yeah, you're in the opinion. Sao đã đi? Dạ, em không được. Ya agradecemos mucho nosotros el centro porque usted hizo posible que nosotros nos mudáramos al centro, de este nuevo centro. Y el apoyo que nos ha dado y ante cualquier necesidad que tenga el hasta los picos muy formados. Le agradecemos mucho y nos va a hacer muchas partes.
Oh, she did.
So we wanted to thank you for helping to get the funding for the senior center, and just recognizing how important it is for the community, and how much it's gonna miss me. And I'm gonna miss you guys. So we're not going anywhere. I'll be around. But thank God. I failed to just mention also that this building, after we built the building, this building was intended to have a senior center. And they built the senior center, they built the kitchen, they built all the space, and then they just never funded it. And Priscilla doesn't even live here. She doesn't technically represent the building because she represents Millbrook Houses, but she was like, this is ridiculous. Like, how did we build a senior center and the city didn't, put any money into programming? And so we were able to also get this senior center funded. So we brought in 2 senior centers to the community that are new. And on top of that, we were able to renovate the Kansas Senior Center, which was also in really, really, really bad condition. So we've been really busy, and a lot of that is because of your advocacy. So thank you all. I hope that you enjoyed the food. I hope that you enjoyed each other, and I hope that you enjoyed the event. I want to recognize my staff who is here. I want to recognize Stephanie Herrera. I know. She's my baby too. Everybody wants Stephanie. You know, I don't know what I would do without her. She's everywhere at all times. Melinda Velez, who's our interim chief of staff, is here. Melinda, I don't know if she's somewhere back there. And so is Gloria Cruz. Gloria! And you guys know Gloria is a resident, lifelong resident of Mount Haven. And, you know, she knows it all. But I want to thank her for all of her service and her work. Thank you, Gloria. And then, last but not least, Elsie Encarnacion, who is the chief of staff, but she's on leave. You know, I will say this, you know, we're at the end of the program anyway. But Elsie is actually running to replace me at the city council. And I hope that you get an opportunity to get to know her, because she's an exceptional person. There are like 10 people running in that race. And I supported her because I think that she's the most qualified individual. She has the experience, and I think people take for granted that the level of experience that is needed. You know, when we come into the council, we come in January, and we are already in the middle of the budget cycle. That means that those conversations are really rapid, and you have to know what is happening. You have to be able to understand how to legislate, and you have to also be able to lead with love, not be a politician. Be a people of the people. Be a part of the community. Be a part of this family, and that is why I support her. You know, I'm not trying to tell you to you know, I'm not telling you to go out and vote for Elsie, even though I hope you do, but to get to know her, I think that you're gonna get to, you know, to understand why I love and support her so much, and why I think that she will be your best representative. And with that, thank you all so much. We're gonna play a little bit of music. I'm gonna take, no?
Hello, everybody. My name is Princella Jameson. I'm the president of Millbrook Houses, and I'm also the first vice chair of the South Bronx Council of Presidents. But this day wouldn't be special if we did not honor the one and only woman who came here. She was a social worker. She ended up being our city council woman. Now she's the deputy speaker, Ms. Diana Ayala. I want to honor her from all of us, not just the residents of Millbrook, but everyone in the community.
All right.
She's so cute. I'm gonna tell you a funny story about Princella. Oh my God, that is beautiful. Oh wow. Oh, princess. She doesn't like to get hugged, but I'm gonna hug her. I love her so much. So when I was a council member staff, Princess gave me an award one year, and she accidentally put council member Diana Ayala. And I'm like, oh, you know, Princess predicted what was to come. So I saved it for many years because, you know, I always thought it was funny. And they used to make fun of me. Elsie used to make fun of me. She's like, Councilmember Ayala. And I was, you know, I was a staffer. But it was so funny that it ended up coming true, because at that time I really had no intention of running for public office. But thank you so much, Princess. She's really been phenomenal. You know, I don't know how I really hope that people in this development appreciate everything that she gives every single day to fight for the residents of Millbrook Houses. And I love you. You know, you're like my sister, and we're stuck together now. Glad you're okay with it.
You made it. You made it through the night. I want to thank everybody for coming out, all of the strong, beautiful women, and all the men who get it, right? All of the men who came to support us. Keep doing that.